Okay. Uh, Jordan's vlog, part 1. Okay, I was supposed to work today, and apparently my driver ended up, sorry about the lighting, ended up having a flat tire, and I was supposed to go to work. Sorry about the headlight. And, turn it off so y'all can somewhat see me. So, well, that's not really good enough, is it? But, girls, I'm gonna go outside. These are my little girls. Gigi is the little fluffy one. Bella is the little red one over by the trash can. Girls are being so darn cute. So I'm gonna go outside and talk about my problems for today. Come on, Bella, wanna come outside? I'll leave the door open just in case she wants to come out and not be a hermit. Well, today I was supposed to go to work at 11, and all right, Bella's out here. Hi, Bella. And unfortunately, this thing can't be helped because my driver ended up having a flat tire, and sorry, I had to prop this gate up with a stool. Hi, Belly. What? 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 See, I left the door open for you girls. Anywho, prop that up so y'all can see me. My driver ended up having a flat tire, and I couldn't find anybody to. Sorry, my hair's a mess. Didn't wash it this morning. So I had to cancel my ride. And I had to call my work, tell them that I couldn't find a ride, that I couldn't come in today, yada, yada, yada. I can't change that, can't be helped, and, it's a transit system called NetTrans, and they don't have anybody in the vicinity of Bristol, Tennessee. They only do Tennessee, East Tennessee. So, like Sullivan County, Washington County, Hawkins County, So, I made the decision on canceling my ride through NetTrans, and, told my boss, couldn't come in today because I couldn't find a ride to couldn't find anybody to bring me into work. So today's just not my day for a Wednesday, and I'm grateful to even have a job, to be honest with you. And as you can tell, it's rainy, cloudy, and murky, and muddy, and dreary. But my luck is not really the best luck ever. And, I mean, sometimes my luck does brighten a little bit, but sometimes it's just not so good. It's kind of like chaos. It's like chaos follows me everywhere. I have a neighbor down below me that probably thinks, who is she talking to? And why is she talking so loud? But he's this is the neighbor down there with a whole bunch of stuff in his yard, and he seems to be working on on something that is either metal or wood, but I think he's like a carpenter or something, somebody that works in that field. But he always seems to be working on something, tinkering on something, and there's nothing wrong with doing anything like that, you know. There's nothing wrong with tinkering or anything. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying keeps you occupied, you know, if you're living alone or something. For me, it's like when I'm by myself, I usually watch TV or read or just go on TikTok on my phone or Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Play an app game on my phone or something. And or go on YouTube and watch a video or two of like funny cats or funny TikToks on YouTube or whatever, just funny videos or something, or music videos or what have you. But just to keep my mind occupied during this whole COVID pandemic for the past year, playing games on my phone like Harry Potter Puzzles and Spells and Harry Potter Hogwarts Mystery and Pokemon Go, TikTok and Township and the Arcana and Snapchat and YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and stuff, just to keep me sane. You know, I'm on the autism spectrum, Asperger's, which is not, Asperger's is not used anymore. Because I found this out like several months to a year ago or so, and I was surprised. But mental health throughout these 2.5 years so far, we're starting off as 2 years now, or just one. The whole year of 2020 was hell, basically. Because it didn't really hit home until like mid to late February, early March. And of course there was lockdown, so obviously I was one of those people that had to stay home, you know, and not go to work, you know, because I work at a grocery store, and this grocery store is only it's only available like in business in Kentucky, Virginia, and Tennessee. And like since it's KVAT, Kentucky, Virginia, and Tennessee, those are the only states that have Food City, I guess. I think so. But we had lockdown, obviously. So we all had to stay home, obviously, and we weren't supposed to go out and do stuff, but of course there's people out there that say that COVID's a hoax and it's not real, it's fake, that sort of thing. And with Trump, him saying, I don't know if he's actually said it, but from what I've heard, that he said that the coronavirus was fake and that that we shouldn't be worried and stuff. And but I don't know if this is true or not. So I'm just shooting in the dark here, but there's people out there that say that COVID is fake and it's fake news. But explain to me about this death toll, though, because with every pandemic that has happened throughout hundreds of years, like the two plagues, I think one of them was the bubonic plague, and I forgot what the other plague was called, but the pandemics that happened every 100 years, millions of people died. So how can you say that the coronavirus is a hoax when many, 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 many millions of people died? My stepdad died from complications from the coronavirus. He died on December 4th of 2020. And my mom, for obvious reasons, has grieved, and probably is still grieving, Grief is not an illness, from what I've heard. Grieving is normal. It is not an illness. It is not a sickness, because I've not heard anybody diagnose grief as a disease or an illness. Now, for me, I have autism. I wasn't diagnosed with autism till I was like 15. So, from when I was a kid growing up to the point of me being 15, my mom and dad didn't know, my whole family didn't know what I had, because I had the learning disability I had, because I was always in special ed classes, like reading lab and like just special classes that somebody with a learning disability has to go to, and math was never my greatest subject. And there's like anti-vaxxers out there that say that vaccines cause autism. It doesn't cause autism. Autism is a neurological thing up here, where a person who has autism, their wires are crossed. So somehow crossed. So people who have normal wired brains don't understand, unless they're doctors, they don't understand the whole concept of autism, just like the coronavirus. They don't know where the coronavirus came from, but some people speculate that the Chinese government had something to do with constructing this virus. And I've heard when I first heard about this, probably back in February or March or May or something, when it first started, that it came from the Wuhan wet market, and that it came from bat soup. And yes, certain animals do have like Lyme disease and rabies and stuff like that, But I don't think bat soup can give you the coronavirus. That's just my opinion. And y'all can go off on me for that, But y'all don't know as well as I do what or how this virus came about. Yes, some viruses and other stuff can come from wet places. Yes, they can. But we don't know how the COVID came to be. So, if you've been to the COVID unit at a hospital, at your local hospital, if and when your family member had the COVID and ended up being in the hospital, I've seen it. It looks terrifying to even see these nurses and doctors in full garb of protective shields, masks, and like surgical gowns on. And it kind of looked like it came from a science fiction book. Like from a science fiction book or movie. Or the third option is an H.P. Lovecraft book, or it came from Lovecraft's mind, from his mind, and that Cthulhu had come to wipe out all of humanity or something. And note, I have not read any of Lovecraft's books, but it's kind of like H.P. Lovecraft and Stephen King had a baby. And it was so science fiction. And it's kind of like science fiction and horror combined. Like Frankenstein and Cthulhu and Frankenstein came together and built these COVID units. So it's like horror, science fiction, all rolled up into one. And my stepdad, Danny, he was absolutely bloated, laying in the hospital bed, and he was 60 when he died, so, it was just awful to see these people, to see Danny in such a condition. He had COVID when he went in. I had COVID, my mom had COVID. My stepdad and my mom were in a car accident a couple years ago, and Danny ended up getting the brunt of the car accident. So, like, his whole left side was basically broken. Like, his pelvis was shattered, his leg was all banged up real bad. So, I mean, his left side was all banged up. And I'm still a little scarred myself seeing him laying in that bed. And my stepbrother Caleb, who's the third son, Danny's third son, so he's the youngest. Seeing Caleb looking at his father in that hospital bed, it broke my heart, to be honest with you. I have nothing against Caleb or Sorry, Gigi, I didn't mean to kick you. Oh, I'm sorry. This is Gigi. Oh, Gigi, I'm sorry. Oh, I didn't know it was you. Oh, goodness. I'm sorry. Oh, oh. Ah, Bella. Bella, Bella. Oh, Bella. Bella. Oh, it's you. Little Red. You're so beautiful. What you see up there, Belle? Huh? You see stuff? This is Bella. She's my little red dog. She's a Min Pin Feist mix. So anyway, and the little black and tan dog, it was Gigi. We've had Bella probably about since 2015. So we had Bella 6 years, and we had Gigi for probably about 2 or 3 years, roughly. And anywho, two of my oldest stepbrother, his name's Jordan. My name's Jordan, so his oldest is a felon, because he got into things that I won't say here, you know. All I'm gonna say is that he's a felon. Now, I mean, I'm not really good socializing with other people. But anyway, his middle son is in the Navy. So he's in the military. And right now he's, I think in Michigan. No, he's in Ohio. He's in Ohio, and his wife, Lorraine, is from Michigan. And, Michigan or Maryland? One of the M's, so. Anywho, Caleb and his girlfriend, Christina, was, because they only allowed, like, 4 family members to see a family member that is in the hospital in the COVID unit and stuff, and so it was Caleb and Christina, plus me and Mom. Danny looked so bloated. He looked like a balloon. And, Danny was a really big guy. I mean, not, like, morbidly obese, like, not like the show 600 pounds and the show, but, you alright, Billy? You alright? Something in your throat? Anyway, he was almost 300 pounds, and like right when we walked into the COVID unit, there were like this big group of doctors, and for me, I was scared, to be honest with you, because Mom and I just, I guess just got done. I think we still had COVID, I think, or something, because we got diagnosed with COVID near the end of November, so probably around Thanksgiving. Yeah, around Thanksgiving. So it was near the end of November, so Thanksgiving. And we had to stay home, like, at the beginning of Thanksgiving, the beginning of the last week of November, until, for me, I had to stay home till December 4th. Mom had to stay home till December 3rd. Mind you, my mom and I were both tested on the same day. We had a swab down our throat, you know, because I thought, you know, they had to, like, go up your nose and dig a hole in your brain or something, and But yeah, they just put the cotton swab in my mouth and they kind of like dug in, you know. You know how it feels when you have those big long Q-tips up your nose and they gotta tickle your brain, you know. We didn't really do that this time because when I first did it, they just did like right at the base of your nostril. Sorry, I didn't mean to like pick my nose, but because Danny was the one that took me to get my COVID test done, and it was negative. So he said he was surprised that they only did like the little just probably about this, like from from this little line right here at the base, like at the first knuckle. So that was just about it. With him, they had stuck the Q-tip all the way back to his brain, and so this time around, when Mom and I got ours, they had finally decided to like tickle the back of our throats. It was the most uncomfortable thing ever, just like sticking it up your nose and up to your brain. And but the look on Caleb's face was total heartbreak. Yeah, his mom is a miserable witch of a woman. I'm being honest here. His mother's a witch. And I'm not going to say the B word because that's a mean word to say. But she's a miserable witch that I'm assuming has been miserable for most of her life, because since Danny was with her and Caleb is his, since Caleb is her son and Danny's son, so Danny knows that she's a difficult and miserable woman to be around. And I mean, we've bumped into her at Walmart at least 2 times. And she's a really loud a loud person. So she was talking to me and my mom, and Danny was in his scooter, and so he came up, and so she and Danny started talking, and Mom and I just walked off, and there was this guy that walked past us, and she was like, "Hey!" like really loudly, you know, "How are you?" And this guy just kept on walking and just ignored her, you know. I guess they knew each other, I guess. But she is the most, from what I've heard and from my encounters with her, she's a very miserable person. She's kind of like the Wicked Witch of the West, with all the warts and, or more basically, the combination of the Wicked Witch of the West and the witch from Hansel and Gretel. So, but for Caleb, she has withheld him most of his childhood from Danny, you know, because she's one of those people that are miserable and vindictive for no apparent reason, but my guess is that they've had something terrible happened to her, and to other people like Lisa in their childhood, growing up, you know, terrible things that no child should go through. But what is the bill? Come on. But oh, what is the bill? What is the bill? What is the bill? Gigi meeny meeny meeny. Mwah. Boo. Gigi meeny. This is Gigi. Gigi meanie meanie. Oh, come on, Bill. Oh, come on. So anyway, Lisa's one of those, that's Caleb's mother. It's one of those miserable people that you do not want to be around because they just suck the life out of everything. But I know that Caleb and Danny did not have the best of relationships a father and son could have. But I could tell that Caleb really wanted to have a relationship with Danny. And that, just, he wanted to have a relationship with his dad, and Caleb has a son that's 5, like my sister's son, who's 5. It's gonna be 6 in July. So, Caleb's son's name is Eli. So, so we were at Danny's bed. All 4 of us was at Danny's bedside. What do you smell, Belly? Gigi, what you smell? What you see? But, we, well, mostly me, I guess me and Mom, we were like the only ones that were talking to him, you know? What is it, Belly? Are you cold? Come on, let's go. Come on. Come on, girls. So, anyway, we were telling Danny, because at the time I didn't know if he was hearing us or what, but he was unconscious, so, sorry, excuse me. I burped. So we were just trying to talk to him, you know, telling him that the grandkids were Caden and Kaysen. Now, I'm gonna stop right here and say that my sister has 2 little boys, and they both have blonde hair. My sister and I are brunettes, but my sister colors her hair blonde. So, I mean, she always has colored her hair blonde. So, I mean, when we were kids, you know, I mean, I was born with a head full of dark hair. My mom said at some point I had blonde hair. So, and Sis did have blonde hair most of her childhood too. So, anywho, both her boys are blonde. And her firstborn